Hey, I'm Dr. Play, and I want to talk to you about play when it applies to love. And if you will, it's a simple question. Do you play to love, or do you love to play? Now, the reason I'm giving you this topic is because over the years, I've had lots and lots of people that have come through my office, lots of couples. And one thing that's been interesting, intriguing to me, is I find the people that stay in relationships, the ones that sustain relationships, are people that have learned to play together. And so for that reason, I want to give you some ideas about play in relationships. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's the single most important activity that you can have in a relationship. When you have play, there's an investment in emotions that reflect charm and give you a connection to that person, and that lays the foundation for you being in love. It's vital. It's absolutely important. Now, I can tell you there's a lot of evidence that play is not around anymore. And when we look at our divorce rate and we see that people no longer want to be in legal relationships, they are plagued with the truth that all around us people are breaking up. And so they witness the current divorce rate. They witness the breakup rate. And it makes them timid or scared, if you will, from getting involved in a relationship that's long-term. But a lot of them don't realize the importance of play, because these are relationships that have lost a sense of play. When people get so overwhelmed with the 3 C's, you all know what the 3 C's are?
Control, custody, and care.
Children, career, and chores. When we get so invested in careers, children, and chores, we forget how to make time to play, because we need to make time to get the responsibilities done. And when that happens, all of a sudden you find yourself in a relationship that's work-based. And you've heard me say this. Love relationships are 90% feelings and 10% facts, but work relationships are 90% facts and 10% feelings. And when relationships become work-based, people fall out of love. So let me give you an idea of how I define play. Let me give you an idea of how I define play. Ready? Any recreational activity that creates fun, pleasure, and enjoyment between people. It has no goals, it has no ambitions, it has no practical purpose other than the participants' hope that it never ends. Now, the reason I give you that is because some people tell me they enjoy playing golf or they enjoy playing tennis. And it's true that when you're actively involved in a sport of competition, you may walk away and say, that was a good occurrence, that was a good event. But what I'm finding is when couples play for pure pleasure and they do things that are just for themselves, meant to be time that we share to laugh and to giggle, and to do things that are solely recreational for us to be together. So I'm going to tell you, I believe play is absolutely vital. And if you don't have it in your relationship is not going to prosper the way that you thought it should. The one thing that I need you to know is play is the antimatter to stress. Stress is the number one factor that tears relationships down. And when you have play in your relationship, you find yourself resistant to the doom and gloom of the drudgery of life. Also, you need to understand that when we play, we get energized. We get energized for that creativity that encourages laughter. Think about it. Laughter. How good you feel after you laugh. Your body produces dopamine, norepinephrine, and your body gets that sort of after flush of these wonderful feelings that just sort of linger well beyond the laughter's over. Sometimes people say their side hurts. When you play, you find there's this expression of positive emotions. You know, during the day when we're taking care of all the career, children, and chores, we have a lot of negative emotions. Yelling at the kids for the homework that's not done, or the clothes that aren't picked up, or being angry that dinner wasn't finished. Those are all negative emotions. But when you go outside and you endeavor in some activity that makes you feel good and you laugh, all that is washed away because it activates within you white book memories. White book memories. Those things in your mind's eye that fill you with joy and happiness. I think of white book memories as those things that I cherish. And for some of you, like for me, it was the birth of my son. When I was there and there was that first cry and the look on my wife's face when that baby was brought into the world. White book memories. For some of you, white book memories are events that occur through the day-to-day processes of celebrating life. But I'm looking for white book memories to be more encompassing, because when you have play and you're outside in the grass, in the yard, and you're rolling with your little ones and they're tickling you and you're tickling them back, those memories last forever and you'll have a flashback. You'll have a flashback and a recollection of that image of what that expression was like, and you'll find that somewhere in that playfulness, I experienced the innermost emotions of being childlike. See, that's what's important. You know, tennis can get pretty serious, so can golf. But when we endeavor in family activities, partner activities, where all of a sudden, you know, you're tickling, you're giggling, you're chasing, you're making each other have an event that's meant to be an expression of joy, like tag or not it. It unlocks the inner inhibitions, and all of a sudden you find yourself being someone that you didn't know you can be. And somebody said, that's a lot of fun. Because when you do this and you get involved with that connection to others, it activates the emotional space in the brain. It activates or makes you susceptible to environmental interactions that have to do with connecting to people around you. So I tell you what I've observed about play. When it's involved in relationships, people stay in love. When I talk to people that have play as an integral part of their relationship, they stay in love. And I tell you what's more important, where some people rest up to go to work, people that play rest up to go play. They've told me, I got to go home after work and take a power nap so we can go out in the yard and play tag. I got to go home and take a nap so when I get out there with the kids, I don't run out of energy. See, those playful couples that involve not just their kids and themselves in this, they stay married. And they stay married because they stay emotionally intimate. Emotional intimacy is a byproduct of playfulness because it brings out the joy of you that you had that's fundamental to who you are as a human. And the more white book memories you have within you, the more that I want to be with you because I remember those memories. Now, there's one more thing I feel about white book memories because they really are important. I've got white book memories on the board behind me. They're pictures. And so I would encourage each of you that if you experience white book memories, you put those pictures up there. Because in your mind's eye, you remember those events. You remember who was there, what happened. And you'll often tell jokes about, hey, let me tell you about this time that we all went out, we met some friends, and it was just wonderful as we danced and we enjoyed each other. White book memories help you to erase black book memories. There's tragedies out there, guys, and all of us are going to have them day to day. Next week, next month, bad things happen. But the more you find yourself developing white book memories, the more you're going to find yourself that you can get rid of those dark things. Because relationships through play develop resilience. The ability to sustain a blow. Resilience. The ability to deflect negative energy. And ultimately, I'm going to tell you across the board, when I see people that stop playing, relationships in trouble. So when people don't play, they become human beings, they become human doings, not human beings. Human doing, work, 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 human being, feel, get invested in playfulness, get invested in the emotional experiences of life. When people quit playing, they start to become workaholics. They put work over play. I had a guy tell me without any shame whatsoever that he hadn't taken a vacation in 5 years. Because if he did, he'd get behind and look at the money he would lose. And I would tell you, he had not realized he became emotionally distant to the very family that he claimed were emotionally intimate to him. When people stop rejoicing in playfulness, when they stop rejoicing in the charm of being with their partners, they lose a sense of the uniqueness of that relationship. They forget why are we in this relationship? They no longer notice the special nuances of facial expressions and touch and the giddiness of laughter. And they forget the very things that I thought were special about you and me and that made us joyful. And then finally, if you will, when couples don't play, the 3 C's take over. The children, career, and chores, they take over, and all of a sudden the laughter and the joyfulness that once was there, it's gone and it's no longer there. So I'm going to give you some ideas. I think of the word secret. Well, I forgot how to play, and I just want to ask you, where do I start? So I'm going to give you a couple. Number one, easy one, you got to schedule time for play, and you got to stick to it. So if you decide that Sunday at 2 o'clock is your 2 hours of playtime, you got to stick to it. You got to explore interactive and fun things to do, and by all means, please avoid spectator sports. Yeah, you can go to a movie, you can watch a football game, and all that's good, and it might make you cheerful. but it's not an interaction with the person you're with, and you're not developing an emotional connection with that person. C, choose the right environment that matches your personalities. Look, I got a 17, a 14, a 12, a 10, and a 7. So I've got to pick things that we can do together as a group. So we play disc golf, we play disc tag, we create games where we've got 2 end zones with a person that's a referee, and as one team is trying to get to the end zone of the other team, they can be hit with a disc, and that sends you back to the end zone. We create playful games that allow us to have fun. Now, I'll be honest with you, when me and my older children are together, we scuba dive. And remember I said before, the one quality of play is to, whatever it is that you're doing, you wish that it never ends. And I'll tell you, when we're diving, I wish it never ends. I could do that every day and continue to do it. So whatever this activity is, remember, one of those hindsights is make sure that you've chosen the right environment, and that it's something that, where you don't care. You don't want it to end. Or I need you to relax and chill out. When you're out there, and I was at Al Lopez Park with our kids last week, and we were throwing discs and practicing disc golf, and we're climbing on a jungle gym. It's not time to talk about how the house was dirty, and when you get home, somebody's going to pick up the slack and do the dishes, and oh, by the way, when we get home, you got to do your homework. Chill out. No talking about problems. E is for exercise your sense of humor. You got to create laughable events. You got to create I talked about Christmas last year and how we turned Christmas gift giving into play. And I told you how we play the game hot and cold. That all the gifts are removed and hidden around the house in different places, and each child has a turn to start walking towards a gift. And if they're walking in the right direction, we say hot, and if the wrong direction we say cold. And it becomes fun if you take the gifts and you put them outside in the next door neighbor's trunk. Or you hide them in a garbage can with the top down. But you have to create laughable events. And then finally, I want to talk about T, which is to train yourself. Play is like exercise. The more you do it, the stronger you get, the better you get, the more capable you get. It's one thing that we have to do over and over again. And so this idea that if you leave this room today and you say, you know what, my partner and I, we're pretty stressed out. We're both working hard and we have kids. But I'll tell you right now, Doc, other than going to movies, other than, maybe going for a walk along Hillsborough River, we don't play anymore. And so you recognize within yourself, on your own, by yourself, you've got to rebuild this relationship. But you've got to rebuild this relationship from the ground up. Remember, you are attracted to each other because there's qualities that you each have that you truly enjoy and you desire to sustain. I mean, that's the basic foundation on why you'll be successful at returning play to your relationship. You've already got a head start. But as you move away and you get to that space, as I said before, whether it be Al Lopez Park where you bring some sodas and an ice chest and you set up a little soccer field and you guys play soccer. Please understand, especially for you guys, it's not about competition. Where it typically goes wrong is the big guys start berating or badgering the little guys about how strong I am and look how weak you are. The air of competition has to be removed. It's got to be all about kicking the ball, enjoying the ball, making a goal. Oh my God, great for you, my turn, let's do it. And for some of you that are really athletic, you may have to gip yourself. You may have to slow down your athletic ability, fall down more, get tackled by the 5-year-old and say, oh my God, I can't run faster than you. Because in order for those children to enjoy themselves with you, you've got to move yourself to their level. That's one of my basic philosophies about playing with your kids. You can never act any older than the oldest child that's there. Because if you do, then you remove that essence of a relationship as you become the command superhero that does no wrong. I hope you enjoy this idea of play. I'd like you to try it, and if you will, give me some feedback if it works. Send me an email, gordonplay@gmail.com, and let me know what you did and how it worked, because I'd like to know all about it.